actually someone who grew up with a lot of traditional beliefs when it came to sex, marriage, and romantic relationships. I remember being 7 years old, believe it or not, 7 and even maybe 6 or 5, I don't know, but I remember being very young, and I had this idea that my love experience was going to be this beautiful fairy tale. I was gonna fall in love with a nice boy, we're gonna get married, and our first kiss, maybe I was thinking about a kiss kind of situation, but I knew there was something else going on. I didn't really know what sex was, but I had an idea because I had seen some pornography in the form of magazines when I was younger, so I knew there was something about sex, but I couldn't really put the words to it. I just felt like my experience would be more fairy tale, like it would be more traditional. I would get married to this nice young man who was going to be the father of my children. We were in love, we were best friends, and then we were gonna have our first kiss and our first time. In my head, I had no words for that. I didn't know like sex per se, but I just knew there was something going on between a male and a female, and them getting together was like this whole shebang thing, literally banging. But I knew there was something going on, and I remember wanting that for myself growing up. And then I went to America, and I mean, I'm not blaming on America. I just felt like at my home country of the Philippines, at least from where I grew up, people were more conservative. And I remember sensing like this feeling that when there would be kissing scenes or sexual scenes, like I was not allowed to see that as a young girl, that was not something that I was allowed to do at my age. So there was this sense of, I guess, conservativeness when it came to that, or modesty when it came to sexuality as a young child. Am I allowed to say sex? I should be allowed to say sex. Speaking of being allowed to say certain things, I find it really crazy and concerning that Andrew Tate was banned for simply expressing his views. There's probably a bunch of videos out there about this, and I'm probably late to the game, but I think that this is something that should be discussed more. And I'm just gonna say my piece and then move on. I don't know if you guys are aware who Andrew Tate is, but he has been kind of a very popular figure as of late. I think that the attention has died down recently, at least for me. I'm not seeing so much recommendations and posts and stuff about him, but he is, I guess, one of the most Googled people on the planet as of late. At least that's what I have heard. Not exactly sure how accurate that is, but I believe it. He is an ex-kickboxer. He was on Big Brother, which was an old show. I don't know if it's still going on, but he was on that. He's an entrepreneur now, and he's made a lot of money from his webcamming business.
I learned so many lessons from that period of my life about male-female dynamics. So many lessons. And I learned that women are loyal to the dick they want to suck and nothing else. And if they're not having sex with you, they're going to have sex with somebody else. They're not going to go sexless. And whoever they're having sex with is the person they're going to listen to ultimately. And that person does not want them naked in another dude's house. Why would they, right? So I was trying to motivate girls with money. So the girls who loved me and worked for me, my main girlfriends, they'd get probably around 20% of their money. I'd keep 80% of the money they made. So they basically worked for free. They worked for my love and attention. The other girls was the other way around. I'd keep 20% for all the help I gave them, the premises, the typing, because by that time I had a room of typers. I had like 4 or 5 girls who were full-time professional typers. They were ugly, but they were smart. And then I had the pretty girls on the cameras. So I had like a professional setup. So I was taking 20% of the money from them, and they'd get 80% of the money. So I was trying to motivate them with money, but motivating with money doesn't work for 2 reasons. The first reason is, if a girl has no romantic interest in you, the idea of her making you money off of her tits offends her. Like you're using her tits. It's like grabbing a girl's tits who doesn't like you. Do you understand what I mean? There's something weird about it. They didn't like it. But I wasn't tricking anyone. I was just saying, look, you can make a bunch of money. I never exploited anybody. I never hit a girl. I never hurt nobody. I didn't even have to raise my voice. I was a positively inspirational and motivating person. I was a pimp.
I don't think he does that anymore. He does other things now where he mentors young men and has a sort of group for wealthy people. I think he calls it the War Room. So I've done a little bit of research on him, but this is for the people who maybe are not so familiar with him. His brother, his like right-hand man, if you will, his name is Tristan. And his brother, I think, is the one that owns an OnlyFans management company.
This is a lesson to you, Sneeko, because you're a young man and lots of young men watch you. If you have someone who's 18, 19, 20, 21, and she's young and impressionable, and this may be one of her first dating experiences or one of her first sexual experiences, you have no fucking right to fucking fuck her and ghost the bitch and leave that stain on her opinion of men. That's just not okay. Be polite. Take her out for a nice dinner. And believe me, I know if you take women out and you treat them nicely and you make love with them and you're safe about it and you say, yeah, maybe I'll see you next week, and you talk to them a bit and you're still polite, no woman's mad at you for showing her a great weekend. That's not the way women are. But when you get what you want, when she opens herself to you sexually and you are selfish enough to just block the bitch out of nowhere, you're a fucking piece of shit.
So they're making money, or they have made money and still do, from women selling themselves for sex, essentially, which I'll get into that in a little bit because I do want to discuss modern sex and modern love and, you know, modern attitudes towards love and sex and how things have changed and my personal experiences with it. I think that it's important to talk about. I want to talk about it. I've been feeling very compelled to. Andrew Tate is someone that I think has a lot of gems. When he talks about, you know, how to empower men and how to be a more empowered and confident man, I appreciate that.
There's a large contingent of men out there who don't want to wear makeup, who don't want to be girls, who don't want to be told they're toxic because they want to go to the gym, who want to drive nice cars, who want to have money, who want to have hot chicks. And there's nothing wrong with us. We are not evil. We are not bad. We're not misogynistic. We're not out to hurt anybody. Let me tell you one more thing. When bad things happen, they call men like us. The feminists who hate us and call us toxic, the second they have trouble, they'll call a police officer. Do you think they want a feminist male to turn up or a man like me and you? They need us and they use us. But the second we have an opinion, the second I decide to voice and talk about the things that we talk about, explain our points of view, they want to cancel us. They don't want us to speak. They just want us to defend them, build the railroads, build the roads, be the workhorses, be the slaves, and they think we're not allowed our point of view. You can cancel me. I'm about to pave the road for every other man out here with an opinion who's going to get canceled.
Because the truth of the matter is a lot of these young men, especially in this internet age, are struggling, you know. They're struggling and they're questioning, you know, if they're good enough. They're seeing all these people, young guys, make millions of dollars. And they're seeing all these young girls every single day looking very sexy and sexual, and they want that, I guess, because to them, having that kind of woman, having that sort of lifestyle means that they're worthy. I think that a lot of men today have been spiritually neglected. I don't think that they have any type of guidance spiritually. A lot of these men are probably atheists, or they don't even have an idea of a higher power because they're so young. I remember coming across porn at like 10 years old, you know. I remember seeing a lot of horrific things on the internet starting from 10. I'm 28 right now. Yeah, I've just seen horrible stuff like from an early age, and I can't even imagine what kind of stuff that these younger generations have seen or experienced, and they're more impacted by the internet. I think more than anything, his opinions and views are very, very controversial, and understandably so.
You say a lot of stuff about women like that they're your property.
That's not what I said. I was talking about an OnlyFans company when that question was asked.
But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his.
Well, that's crazy. That one's crazy.
So you think that a man going out with a girl, that's just your property?
That one was nuts.
I'm nuts now. Good.
If a guy and a girl is dating and a girl does OnlyFans, she owes him a cut?
She is his girl.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because she's his.
So that is you saying that women are your property.
It's not about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him. And the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
So it's reverse. A male porn star owes the woman.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's
Yeah,
given
that's
over
inherently where you get called sexist for.
A lot of the stuff that he says, I don't agree with. But I like him. There's something about him that I like. I think he's so funny.
Let's cut to the chase here. Women should clean up. Not only should women should clean up unprompted. And I'm going to tell you why. It's very, very simple. We live in a world where things need to be fair, 50-50, gender equality, blah, blah. I pay for things unprompted. You don't have to ask me to pay for shit. If we go for dinner, I'll get my wallet out, pay at the end. Don't even check the price of the bill. My card always works. Just bang, ouch, pay, whatever, no problem. Unprompted, if you're with me, your life is effectively free. Everywhere you eat, everywhere you go, where you sleep, you ain't paying for shit. You ain't getting in my car and I'm asking you for motherfucking gas money. No, I pay for everything, instantly, as a man should. So when you walk into a house and you see mess, why is your lazy ass not doing the right thing and start picking and cleaning shit up? If you're sitting there going, that's sexist. Well, it's sexist for me to fucking pay for everything, isn't it, you fucking bimbo? But that's fine. This is the whole world we live in now, double standards. It's okay for me to do the masculine thing, but it's not okay for you to do the feminine thing. It's bullshit. Women should clean. Now, when I say this, girls go, well, I don't like cleaning. No problem. If you don't like cleaning, how about this? I'll clean. And when I say I'll clean, I mean I'll hire someone else to clean. Anyway, I'll get the house clean. And you pay for everything. How about that? Oh no, you can't do that either, can you? Because you're a fucking moron. And you realize that making money is much harder than getting some fucking dishes washed. Then you're going to realize what real work is. Because to pay for shit is much more difficult than keeping a house generally tidy and being a generally pleasant female to be around. Fucking lazy. That's the world we live in now. Females are entitled and fucking lazy. I don't want us to be like some woman hating shit, because to be honest, many men are also lazy and entitled. In fact, all people are lazy and entitled. I hate everyone equally. Don't come at me and call me sexist or racist or any of these things. I hate everyone. I don't care if you're black, white, straight, gay, man, and woman. I hate you anyway. I hate everybody exactly the same. It's the same universal hate. So I'm a very fair person. But I make something very, very clear to my females. You have a choice. Either you can pay for my $300 steak, or you can make sure that I have a nice coffee in the morning and that cup ain't sitting around with some fucking coffee-stained bullshit and my house is nice and clean, pristine, the way it should be, and I'll ensure that we're living the good life because I got more dollars than balls, and I got a whole bunch of balls for you stupid-ass hoes.
I think a lot of it is a character, maybe, an exaggeration. Some people have said that, and I agree with that, but I still don't feel like he should be banned. The people who are banning people like Andrew Tate, censoring people like Andrew Tate, and myself, I have been censored in the past, are people who just want control. They have it, and they're gonna take advantage of it simply because they can, not necessarily because they should. They believe that the people that are using their platforms are not smart enough, not reflective enough to decide for themselves what they believe. I mean, I get the sentiment of that. We want to be parental control. We want to do parental control. But I think that parental control comes from actually being there and teaching your kids good values. A lot of it comes from the fact that young, impressionable, malleable men are watching this stuff. And I get that. But you're essentially saying, oh my God, young, impressionable, malleable men are watching Andrew Tate and teaching him bad stuff. Well, why don't you as a parent or as a member of the community help teach this young man something different? Why do you have to rely on people on the internet to teach your young son, how to behave or how to be a good person or how not to be a good person? I'm not saying I know everything, but I talk about the things that I do know, and this is one of them. Okay, it's very, very bad, for the lack of a better term, concerning to allow someone like Andrew Tate to be censored, all right, in any platform. He should definitely get his platforms back if he hasn't already by the time I'm posting this video. So that's crazy to me. These people think that they should have all this power to delete someone who really doesn't really deserve it. I mean, what did he really do other than say things that people disagree with? I disagree with them, but I'm someone who's willing to understand somebody even if we differ in key points. And the only way that we can protect these young kids from all of the things that they're going to be seeing, all the information that they're going to be coming across throughout their lifetime, is to develop their sense of self from the get-go. So that takes a lot of careful planning, maybe, and intention. But the reality is, a lot of children who are now adults today even have never had that. I was someone who was raised on the internet. I mean, I was exposed to porn before I was 10 years old. So that's something that I'm dealing with right now. I'm having trouble, I will be honest, in my sexuality because of that. Because I grew up as a conservative person. Like, I'm raised by conservative people. I remember being young, like maybe 6 or 5 years old, and there was like a kissing scene or like an erotic or mildly erotic scene where they're just kissing, and maybe like, you know, things are kind of slowly moving to sex. They still have all their clothes on, but you know, they're making out on the bed kind of thing, and my eyes being covered because of that. And there's always this feeling of, I'm not supposed to do that until I'm of age. I'm not supposed to see that. I'm not supposed to express sexuality. I'm not supposed to explore that part of myself until I'm of age. And I feel like of age meant over 18, over 21, at least to the people who are raising me. Spoiler alert, that did not happen. I wish that I did wait for marriage. I've always wanted to wait for marriage from an early age. Like at 7 years old, I thought that my romantic relationship, my first romantic relationship, would be the one, and that we would fall in love, and he would be this great man, perfect boy. We'd get married, and shortly after we'd have our honeymoon, and that's when we'd have our first kiss. And then I don't know what else I was thinking, but I definitely knew that there was something that happened between a man and a woman, or a male and a female, that would join them, if you will. Like, I knew there was a kiss, right? And that was like, oh my God, you know, first kiss. Wow, that's a big deal for me at that age. I knew there was that. But I also felt like there was this other thing. Like, there was something else too. I just couldn't say it. I couldn't put it into words because I didn't have the words. And that's sex. I didn't know what sex was until later on in adolescence. But like, I knew there was something, but I wanted this innocent experience, and unfortunately I did not have that. I am someone who lost my virginity in a way that I did not want to lose my virginity. When I lost my virginity, I didn't even want to lose my virginity. Let's just put it that way. You can call that whatever you want, the 4-letter word that we're not allowed to say for some reason, which is so crap. Because it's like, why can't we talk about real things? Why are we trying to shield ourselves from real things? As if that's going to be better for anybody. No, ignorance is bliss, sure, but ignorance doesn't help anybody in this day and age. So that to me is bullcrap. Like, why are we censoring these real things? I guess it's because when I was younger, I've seen horrific things on the internet, and I feel like I turned out okay. Maybe not fully, maybe I would have been better off if I hadn't seen them, but I don't regret seeing them. I'm talking Jeffrey Dahmer type stuff. People were videotaping this kind of stuff, you know, bestiality kind of stuff. And before I continue, it absolutely sucks that I feel like I can't say certain words on here. To me, that's BS. It really is, because they're not bad words. This is for educational purposes for anybody. You know, I'm a decent human being. It's not like I'm teaching these kids to do these things. I'm teaching these kids of these things so they can protect themselves from it. Or, you know what, that's a bad way of putting it. I'm not even teaching kids. I'm simply talking as a 28-year-old adult about my experiences. Not necessarily with the sole intention of teaching younger children or grooming them, but simply because I think that it's important, because I've had that experience where I was young, under 15 or under 13, learning from people on YouTube who are discussing and openly sharing their experiences. You know, that to me had been invaluable, because my parents were at work, you know. My mom, we barely talked. Emotions were not something that we shared in the household. If I was feeling bad about something, I kept it to myself, and I dealt with it on my own. So I learned from these people on YouTube sharing their experiences. I learned from young girls talking about their first time and talking about their crushes and stuff like that. And lucky me, I happened to come across, I think her name is Whaley, but you know, she was so open with her experiences, and that made me feel less alone, because I had so many questions and no avenue to discuss them, simply because I felt like it was inappropriate. I was always someone who felt like it was inappropriate to have romantic feelings, to have sexual feelings or sexual inclinations. That was something that I hid. So I'm still dealing with that. Like, yes, I'm not perfect. There's a lot of trauma and dysfunction there, but being able to talk about that and being able to share that with people who maybe don't have the luxury of speaking to their family members about that, I think has been so monumental in, you know, healthy development for me. And that's one of the reasons why I love YouTube so much, and one of the reasons I'm doing this video. So, you know, yeah, I have a lot of dysfunction when it comes to that. Unfortunately, I was at the point of my life where I was like, okay, well, I already lost my virginity. Unfortunately, I'm never going to have that fairy tale, you know, one man forever kind of situation, because I'm not going to marry that guy that I lost my virginity to. Without trying to put so much blame on him, because I certainly was at fault too, you know, I was at fault, or my ignorance, my naivety was at fault, really. And that's something that I won't blame myself for, because I didn't know better, I wasn't taught any better. Maybe I was just stubborn, but I'm not going to blame myself for that. And I do think that because he was an older man, he should have known better. Now, I definitely wanted to experiment a little bit. There was always like this, you know what I mean? Like, there was always like, okay, so that's what sex is about, right? It feels good. But I knew that I wanted that first experience to be with someone I had a deep connection with. Unfortunately, have to admit that was not to be for me. I lost my virginity to someone that I did not want to lose my virginity to at a time that I did not want to lose my virginity to, and let's just leave it at that. I just didn't want to, but it happened. So it is what it is, and I blame myself for all the things that I'm responsible for. And I also put blame on that man, because he was older than me, for the things that he was or should have been aware of. He's not somebody that I want. We're never going to get married. We're never going to have that happy ending. So there I am. I'm not a virgin. And now I'm 28, so I'm over 25. Andrew Tate says I'm worthless and someone that nobody should date.
So me personally, right? So I won't date a girl who's older than 25. And that's not even about... Bro, I won't. Bro, I'm 35 and I got more millions than my fucking age. I'm playing games, right? So I get to choose what I fucking want. Yeah, and the reason, I'll take me to the reason.
Why won't you do it?
Because people will say, oh, you're a pervert. Let me tell you the actual reason. It's nothing to do with the fact that she's more fertile and I could easily knock her up. It's nothing to do with the fact that even she's better looking, because there's some beautiful girls who are older.
Yeah.
But the younger a girl is, the less bullshit she's been through with men and the softer she is as a person. The problem is when you get a girl who's 30, how many dicks have been through her? And I'm not even worried about the dicks been through her. How many times has her heart been broken? How many times she had arguments that she's jaded? It's hard to get some genuine feminine softness out of a woman who's 30 and single. She's been through the fucking track. She's been through too much. We talk about a man's been through trauma. Any bitch that's 30 and single's been through it. She's fallen in love. She's been cheated on. She got fucking eloped on. Dude disappeared at the wedding. She's upset at life. And when she gets with you, you're just another one. You're a man too. They're a bit angry.
Yeah.
When you get the young one. Well, she had her heart broken once. I was like, yeah, it's because he's a boy. You ain't with a man yet. It's a happier experience. It's not even about how they look.
Okay.
My point is, this is why I like younger women, because they're not jaded.
Do I agree with him? Of course not. But I'm not triggered. I'm not mad because he's not right about that. He's wrong. I'm not going to be mad at him for being ignorant. You know what I mean? And so it's like, do I want him to be censored? Not really. Like, he can say all that stuff and I'm going to be over here and just being like, okay, whatever. Keep talking BS. Doesn't affect me because it's not true. So I still don't think that he should be censored because I don't care what he says about that stuff because I know my truth. And this is what I mean when we need to instill, children with foundations to determine for themselves what is right and what is wrong. I feel like I had that. I was taught as an early age, this idea was instilled in me. Treat others how you want to be treated. Treat others how you want to be treated. That's one. Be thankful. Every time we had dinner, it was always like, thank you, Lord, for this food. I think what we said was, God is good and God is great. Thank you for this food we eat. Amen. So that was one of the things. And you don't necessarily have to instill these foundations in children through religion. But that's one way to do it. It doesn't have to be Christianity or Catholicism. It could be something else. But I think the most important thing is reverence for nature, gratitude for abundance and the food on the table, gratitude for all the blessings. And yes, it might get more difficult to be more grateful in adulthood when you're getting distracted and you're tired. But I think that having a grateful heart is something that you can instill in children at a young age. And that in and of itself will arm them with solid foundation to go out into the world and, stand strong amidst quote-unquote storms and information that they were not anticipating, potentially dangerous information that could harm them. I think that's fundamental, having gratitude for life, really. And this day and age, and this is it's so crazy because maybe you're more liberal. I'm not liberal. I was in the, maybe 5 years ago, I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally liberal. But I feel like now, the goalpost for liberalism is way far that I've become somewhat conservative. It's become so radicalized that I'm just like, okay, no, that's too much for me. I'm now, in the middle, kind of leaning towards the right because of some of the things that quote-unquote liberals are accepting of that I just completely goes against everything that I feel and know to be true, such as the reverence for life. I mean, I'm seeing these videos of, women half naked twerking in front of Planned Parenthood saying,
I'm BDF, baby daddy free. That mean I ain't got a baby coming out of me. So I'm ABORTING. On my way to the clinic, I forgot the plan B. Let's go. Bitch, I got murder on my mind. Let's go. Bitch, I got murder on my mind.
This is what you're supporting. I understand, wanting the right to abort a child when you're not ready to be a parent or if you've gotten raped. Fine, I get that. I get why women want to have the right to abort. I just don't think that they should be able to. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't think that they should necessarily. They want the right, fine. I want you to have the right too. But I don't necessarily think that you should go for it. Like, I guess that's pro-choice, but also pro-life. I would never do that. Never. There's only a few instances where I felt like I would. Like, for instance, maybe like a severe deformity that's 110% completely verified and true. Or not even a deformity, just the illness, you know, that would make life extremely difficult, right? There's going that direction of like, okay, it's going to be much more difficult for this child, so let's go ahead and pull the plug, right? Or rape. Like, I wouldn't want someone to have the child of someone that they don't love, or the child of someone that has hurt them. Never. And I get that sentiment, truly. I feel like you should have that right to end a pregnancy at that point. Now, should you? That gets a little bit tricky, because I understand that there are many people who are children and products of rape who have thrived and who's grateful to be alive. So there's that aspect of it. In the same regard, like, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. That's my stance on it. But now they're like banging babies on the floor. Not in real babies, of course, but...
Not the fucking terrorizing! My motherfucking uterus! They terrorizing my fucking uterus! It's none of your fucking I'm killing the motherfucking baby!
Fucks with abortion.
He definitely aborts his baby.
Right.
Can you guys help us stop fucking praying? It's not fucking working. It's not fucking working. Why the fuck is the priest terrorizing my motherfucking uterus? Why the fuck are you terrorizing my motherfucking uterus?
Thank God for abortion. 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 Thank God.
Essentially, they're banging babies on the cement just to make a point that they don't like babies and they should have the right to abort them because they'd be horrible parents. We know that. Then maybe you should just be careful about getting pregnant. There's so many methods, very effective methods to prevent pregnancy. And if you still, after preventing pregnancy or doing everything that you can to prevent pregnancy, get pregnant, maybe this is a gift now. Can we turn it around and say, okay, this is a gift. We have technology now that can accurately prevent pregnancy just by your cycles. You know, it's easy. It can be even easier. And so continuing to disrespect, quote unquote, the unborn, or disrespect the very beginning of life by saying F babies and doing stupid crap like that. And to me, that's just disgusting. Temperance, there's a reason why temperance is amazing in the right moments, right? We need to pull back in certain regards in a lot of ways. There's a reason why boundaries are a hot topic. Because if we're just all open to everything, then what? We're open to pedophilia. We're open to people like Jeffrey Dahmer doing whatever the hell they want. No, we're not open to that, and we shouldn't be. These behaviors are wrong, okay? And sure, you can have that thought. Like, I have bad thoughts. I don't act on them because I know right from wrong. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm in this no man's land a little bit when it comes to love and sex. Because on one hand, I have peers of mine who are like, yeah, I should have a right to abortion at any stage because my body, my choice, but we should force you to be vaccinated, and if you're not, you should lose your job and your ability to live a normal life because your body, not your choice. So it's like, huh? And on the other hand, you have these people who are like, oh, climate change is not real. We should be able to do whatever we want and screw the planet in whatever ways that we want. And so I'm like in the middle, but then they think that I'm the enemy, and then they think that I'm the enemy. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas being in the middle is just like having an understanding of both sides. Just, it's been really interesting. I don't know, am I even allowed to say sex? I feel like if I say that, my videos will get docked because the algorithm is getting so genius that it just knows certain words will mean that people are bad and doing bad things and sharing bad ideas. I don't know. Do you guys ever watch the videos where like someone's like, oh, am I allowed to say that? Or like they'll bleep out the R word, the 4-letter R word that relates to sex, ends with an E, and rhymes with grape. They'll bleep that out, and it's so weird to me because it's like, why? These are real things that are happening. Why am I not allowed to talk about that on a platform that was built on sharing ideas and stories and expressing oneself? That to me is really freaky. So yeah, there was a lot of dysfunction there from the get-go, you know, watching porn at an early age before I was even in my adolescence, to losing my virginity in a way that I didn't want to, at a time that I didn't want to, and then to also feeling like I did not fit in with the people around me in terms of my behaviors and boundaries towards sex. Like, I felt like my peers were much more open to casual sex, for instance, whereas I really felt like I was supposed to hold off. But it didn't work. I was weak. I couldn't do it because, again, that experience that I had talked about. I screwed up. You know, I actually told someone in my family about it, and I kind of got criticized very heavily for it. So I guess that kind of gives you a sense of my upbringing. Like, being sexual or even having a sexual inclination or romantic even was not good unless you were of age. I remember when I was like 13 or something, I was talking to a boy, and members of my family, I guess, found out about it. And I was texting this boy, talking to him on the phone, maybe saying I love you or whatever, and they called me a slut. They called me a slut for that, for liking a boy. And that just stayed with me. Like, it still affects me to this day, where it feels like if I even have a feeling of interest towards a boy in a romantic or sexual way, that I would be ostracized or demonized for that. And so I'm still dealing with that because I know it's not a bad thing. Especially with my age. Like, I'm 28, dude. It's okay to have sexuality or to be sexual. It's okay to want sex, or like, it's okay to have a sexuality. Like, you have a sexuality, I have a sexuality. That's okay. But I've never felt that way, and so I'm, weirdly enough, still dealing with that and still coming to terms with the fact that that's okay. I still feel guilt around it in a sense, but it's something that I'm working on. But then I also realized lately that I think that it's simply because I grew up more conservative that I feel so different from my peers. Because again, my peers are very open sexually. They've been open since I was in middle school and even elementary school. You know, People in my middle school were getting pregnant since the 6th grade, having sex since the 6th grade, twerking against each other since the 6th grade. So I grew up in that, and that was to me like, holy crap, like here I was, this young girl, 13 maybe, just wanting to play with bugs and stuff, and people were having sex. Younger kids, younger than me at that point, were having sex and then getting pregnant. So I just felt very like different, because that was not something that I grew up with. Like I was very childish, I guess, in comparison, if you would call that even childish, to not have sex at that young age. But I was like playing video games, reading books and stuff, and people, I guess, were sneaking out at night already, having sex. What do you guys think? I want to know what you think. Where are you at in this spectrum of liberalism and conservatism? Do you think that Andrew Tate should be banned? Do you agree with him? He's also a hypocrite. He made money from webcamming, literally pimping out girls and making money from them. And his brother has an OnlyFans management company. And in the meantime, they're saying that these women are worthless, but they're making millions from them. So it's like, come on, dude. They want this pure woman that just stays at home and cooks their meals and takes care of the kids while they do whatever that they want, gallivanting? Anyways, do whatever they want, running around, sleeping with whoever they want. But if the woman sleeps with anyone else other than them, that woman is a piece of garbage and is going to be cut off, even though she's been taking care of their children. You know what I mean? It's like he's on one extreme, and then you have these other people who are on the other extreme. At this point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to be celibate until the right person, until my future husband shows up. You know? Like, am I gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait until marriage? Do I even want to get married? Like, all these questions are like coming up into my head. I don't really care to get married. I just want a life partner that I can trust. And marriage kind of, I guess you can say, finalizes that union on a worldly level. I had this discussion the other day about, prenup will protect you. Hello, if you get married and then before you get married you sign up for a prenup, you're essentially saying, we might not work out, so in case you try and lie to me and steal from me, and in case you're a conniving, thieving whore, let's just sign this and say that what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. You're essentially going into the marriage with a lack of trust. No wonder divorce rates are 50%? No wonder, because people are like, yeah, let's get married even though I don't really fully trust you because you might steal my money. Like, what the hell is the point? Can that one person that doesn't have this much money still in their minds want to not steal from the other person that they married because they love them so much and they're friends and they care about each other? Like, it's so crazy to me that that's actually happening. Like, if I was marrying a multi-millionaire, I'm marrying them for love and for friendship. Sure, yay, wow, multi-millionaire, finally I don't have to pay bills and like work, and now I get to just cook balanced dinners and clean the house. Yay for me, like, awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have a friendship, a relationship, camaraderie, a connection, and then make a lot of money together. Or maybe live in the woods and hunt for the rest of our lives. Like, I'd rather have that, as long as we have connection, a friendship, and great chemistry, than get married to someone who's a multimillionaire. Because I'm taking care for the rest of my life. Some people are like that. We don't actually care about all the money. And Andrew Tate being a multimillionaire because of the money that he's made off of the backs of these webcam girls and OnlyFans girls, who he doesn't actually see any value in and doesn't even think of as a whole human being. He thinks that women are just gold diggers and his property. You know what I mean? Like, he said that he can do and he can sleep with whoever he wants, but the moment that his girl sleeps with anyone other than him, it's over. She's cut off. Fuck her. Fuck that hoe.
You also said that you could have multiple partners, but a female that was with you couldn't also have multiple partners?
Well, a woman could say that same thing if she decided. She could say, I can sleep with multiple men, but my men can't sleep with multiple women if she so choose. We're all free individuals, right?
Yeah, but you wouldn't agree if a woman said that.
I would personally find that revolting, correct? But there are women who find what I say revolting.
So you're not telling other people what to think. You're just saying how you think.
I think if a man is not sexually exclusive, it's not the same as if a woman is, because with a woman you have the paternity issue. With a man, you don't have a paternity issue. If I have 3 girlfriends and they all get pregnant, we know who the mother and who the father is. If you have 1 woman and 3 men, you don't know who even the parents are if she got pregnant.
Yeah, you could definitely figure that out.
DNA tests are pretty accessible nowadays.
Of course, yeah, that's exactly it. So I said science can step in and fix it, but that doesn't mean it's not haram and against the will of God. Look, read the Bible. Every single man had multiple wives. Not a single woman had multiple husbands. It's against the will of God. It's disgusting.
It's so crazy because say that we were in a relationship. I wouldn't necessarily want to have sex or have an affair with anybody else, but if he is not respecting me and my desire to have him only for myself in that way, just so he can boost his testosterone levels and be a man, his dysfunctional idea of a man, really, I would be like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go open my heart and my body up to other men, because here's my man who thinks that I should just do whatever he wants, meanwhile he can have all this pleasure without even thinking about what I want, which is that I want him for myself and not sleeping with other women. Because if he continues to do that, then I'm in danger when we're in bed together, because those women, maybe they're sleeping with other men and potentially spreading disease and stuff like that. If he impregnates one of those women, the less money goes to my family and my children. You know, it's like I'm at a risk too. So why does he get all this power? It's so crazy. These men, a lot of the times, people in cells, they will say, oh, she's gonna take all his money. She's gonna take half of it. Wow, men are so treated so unfairly in this system. As if this woman didn't cook all your meals, clean up after you, give you advice, good business advice, as if she's like completely worthless, didn't give you emotional support. You know what I mean? Like, they actually don't think that these women and their contributions are valuable when it is. It is. Like, a lot of the people who are watching him, the young guys, I wouldn't call them men, truly. I don't want to call them men because a lot of them are like hating on women. Legit sauce, hating on women. Just thinking that women are out to steal half of a man's fortune. How about the thought that this woman, or the women in this man's life, helped him build that fortune through giving him, again, emotional support, maybe cooking for him, just being a supportive person, you know, making him feel less alone, you know? This stuff that a woman does is valuable, and that's why the universe and God created male and female, man and woman, masculine and feminine. I'm not saying that you have to be a male and female to work together cohesively and to build something wonderful. I'm saying you need either a masculine and a feminine, because that makes something new, births something new. There's this idea with these people who are watching his content and nodding, going, yes, go Andrew, the king, the G, whatever. Not even giving any credit to the women in these men's lives. As if a woman is just completely useless. Who raised you? Is your mom useless? Maybe your mom was a useless piece of shit. Sorry about it. Doesn't mean every single woman is like that. You know what I mean? A lot of women, they have so much heart and so much love to give. All they want is support their man, you know, make their man feel good, all of that stuff. But we're also dealing with a lot of pressure from stupid people putting ideas and spreading stupid information in our heads. And we need the strong men, the real men, to help protect us from this bad info, not by censoring these lesser men, not to say that Andrew is necessarily lesser, but like not by censoring or doing weak crap, by preventing someone to speak their truth and preventing someone from sharing their experiences, but by bolstering what is valuable, what is good, and what is true, by teaching right principles, by teaching the right way to go about things, quote unquote right way, because as we know, rightness is subjective a lot of the times, but there's also objective truth that some men cannot even grasp, cannot even understand, cannot even know. But those that do now have the responsibility of sharing that and teaching that. And there are men who do that, and we need more of that.
So I was having a conversation with a really good friend of mine the other day about how his wife is being resistant towards his leadership in their marriage. And I said, yes, of course, she has her work to do, to heal past traumas, to heal that masculine shield, to let go of control, to soften and surrender. But there's a component here that's not being addressed, which is the quality of a man's leadership inspires a woman's receptivity, openness, and surrender. If the man is not grounded, if he is not clear, if he is not leading in a healthy way, it is likely that the woman will resist him. She will contract and close down. This is so important for the relationship between a man and a woman.
These men are not the type of men who are going to be like, oh, women are valueless. They're just going to steal half of your shit, really. So you better get a prenup before you get married. As a matter of fact, don't get married at all. Do you actually think that that's a good idea? You think that not having marriage, a strong bond and loyalty between a man and a woman, is a good thing? Because it's not. If you want to continue life, and this goes back again to a lack of reverence and respect for life, wanting abortion at any term, saying essentially F you to life by supporting these people who are like, yeah, abortion at any stage, woohoo, woman empowerment, some BS, bad information they took into their heads and started believing and going with as the absolute truth and the right way. Look, like I said, I understand why you would want abortion. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do it. You can jump off a bridge onto oncoming traffic. Should you do that right now because you're feeling sad? No, you shouldn't do it because it'll get better. Just give it some time. You never know the wonderful things that await you. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do it. Just because you can do something disgusting to your dog doesn't mean that you should do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, same scenario. They lack a reverence and respect for life. And they're bringing that now into the marriage that brings about that life. By essentially spreading this BS that, oh, men and women should not get married because it's bullshit and, oh, it's just going to cause more stress in you. Well, how about you marry someone that's good for you? Saying that I'm not capable of being married because I'm older than 25 years old and I lost my virginity even though I didn't want to. And even though I'm a good woman, is complete bullshit. Yeah, I have my issues, but so do you. You know what I mean? You can't group people all together simply because of your experiences with a few of them. And this is in everything. I'm not saying, oh, if you're fighting for the rights of abortion, you must be a horrible person and you must hate children. No. I understand people who are like, okay, yeah, you should have the right to abort. Doesn't mean that they're not respecting life. It's all connected, essentially. I don't know where I'm getting at. All I'm saying is, in this day and age, we are dealing with a lot of different pressures from all different sides. And it's definitely affecting our health, and I can see that. I can see that all across the board, that people are questioning themselves. They're not exactly sure, what's right and wrong. But what I've learned is that it's so important to stand strong in your truth. And that could be looked at as a more conservative view. Like, I'm not that conservative. I mean, just look at me. Look how I dress. I use tarot cards. Not very conservative, but I'm moderate, is what I like to call myself. But when you stand in your truth, you have this sense of solidity and groundedness, which is akin to conservatism. Liberals are more open and head in the clouds, but when you're solid in your core and in yourself, it's akin to the energy of conservatism. Think of conservatives, right? They're like, oh, they're so uptight. Tight, right? You get the tight part. Solidity is tight because the molecules are closer together versus like a gaseous substance that you can't see and is formless, right? We are in the 3D. We are in the world, in the physical realm. Solidity is important. It's groundedness. This is what we seek as spiritual people, groundedness. There's definitely benefits to being more open and free-spirited, and just because you're conservative in certain ways and solid in your truth doesn't mean that you can't be a free spirit in a lot of ways. There are extremes to either side. I don't know. This was kind of all over the place. This is not something that I wanted to necessarily do. I didn't want to be so all over the place. I just wanted to make the point that I think that temperance and moderation is important. Everything in moderation everything in moderation, especially moderation. There are times when you certainly should pull back a little bit. And I get the appeal because it's so invigorating to believe something wholeheartedly and then to have other people join you in that. But that's not the way to go about things all the time, especially when it causes more disharmony than harmony. And I think that that's what's going on in a lot of ways. I guess what I'm trying to say is stand strong in your beliefs. And I'm really speaking to people with more unorthodox beliefs, at least nowadays. Weirdly enough, I'm feeling like that's way different than 10 years ago. Like, the group that's considered unorthodox today are going to be way different than those who were considered unorthodox back then, if you know what I mean. For me, it's accepting, for instance, that I'm not someone who wants to just have casual sex with anybody. Like, I want to reserve that beautiful act with someone that I connect with on an amazing level. Okay, not necessarily an amazing level, but on a true level, if you know what I mean. Not just anybody because I'm feeling lonely. For me, I feel so much peer pressure to be more like that, to be more sexually open and all of that stuff, and to have more casual sex and to let go of the idea that there's only going to be one man for you. Like, I'm peer pressured into believing in that way, but the reality is, the truth of me and my heart is that there is that person, that the creator, that God created for you. And God created other people too to help you on your journey, but there's that one person that God specially created for you. And I believe in that. And in this day and age, it's so tough, it's so difficult to stay strong in that belief, because it's like, oh, I have all these options, just keep swiping left, and you find one, swipe right. You know, it's like this, you have all these options of like swipe left, I don't want you, and then swipe right. Like, there's so many choices, or there's this idea of choice. So I tried online dating. I've literally tried it years ago, and I matched with one person, went on a date with one person, and then deleted it afterwards because it didn't work out. And then years after that, I tried it again recently, Bumble. My first time, it was like beginner's luck with Bumble. Like, my first round was great. Like, I matched with a lot of great guys that I was just like, okay, I can see that there are a lot of options here in the world that could potentially lead to something cool and beautiful and amazing. And it didn't work out with any of them for various reasons. For the most part, like, for instance, when I was trying Bumble the first round, I found that a lot of the people that I was matching with were just coming out of relationships, or were still in one, or in open relationships. And I knew in my heart that I didn't want to be a part of an open relationship kind of situation, because it was disempowering to me. I'm not a woman who is okay with being a side piece. Hell no. Just not me. It doesn't resonate with me. Like, absolutely not. I feel like being someone's side piece, there's a ceiling, and I'm already outgrowing it. I've already outgrown it. So I don't need to be someone's side piece. I don't feel comfortable with that. Didn't work out due to that fact, although we had a lot of things in common, and there was definitely chemistry there. I thought he was very cute. Didn't work out because of that. The other one, the first guy that I matched with, he was very attractive, intelligent person. I felt like we had some chemistry there. I liked seeing him. But then he was still very much so, I think, in love with his ex. He would talk about her. He would bring her up every so often when certain things would remind him of her. Understandable, because I was on Bumble because of the fact that I was trying to get over someone, or something, I guess you could say, or just trying to see my options out there, and still kind of using that service to open my horizon to other potential matches. And it turns out that's what they were doing, that's what they were using it for as well. So it's not like I can demonize them for that. And then the other one, same thing, just recently broke up with an ex. I don't think it was a match. They were into some things that I was not into, and all of that. So actually, I will say that throughout the times when I downloaded dating apps and deleted them, and then downloaded them again and deleted them, I've actually managed to make a couple guy friends from it. And I say guy friends in quotes because can you really be truly friends with someone you matched on a dating app with? There's always that potential inclination to be more than just friends. So I don't think you can truly just be friends. Yes, we're friends, meaning that there's nothing else going on, but there's always this, I guess, potential to be something more romantic, whether it be sexual or just developing feelings in a romantic way for each other. So I don't necessarily consider that a true friendship. For me, a true friendship is purely platonic. I don't actually think that a guy and a girl can be friends. Yes, you can be friends in the sense of you not doing something, but there's always someone in the dynamic who is questioning whether it could be more. It could go further, whether it's the guy or the girl, depending on who is more attracted to who. And especially if you think about like two single people, you know, there's always the aspect of loneliness and wanting companionship, and that being more romantic. Yeah, there's always that potential for some reason. I just don't feel like people who are attracted to each other's gender can be truly friends without that potential in their brain kind of taking seed and growing into something more, you know, given circumstances. So yeah, I tried online dating and it's just not for me. I prefer meeting people in nature, naturally. It just felt so wrong, like swiping through people. These are real people, and I felt like it was desensitizing me to their humanity just by, I guess, normalizing, rejecting them with the ease of a swipe, you know? It was just so weird to me. It was like scrolling through Instagram, but I'm scrolling through people that I'm never going to date and ever see again. It was like I'm looking for attention, but also wanting love, and it was just toxic from the get-go. So I deleted it. It didn't work out for me. I do know that it works out for some people. I don't feel like that's how I'm going to meet my person. And yeah. So all of that said and done, it just came down to the fact that I was looking for a specific type of person with specific kinds of values, and maybe a dating app can really master this in the future, which I'm open to that. But you know, I'm looking for someone with certain principles, certain values, and certain goals in life, someone that I can support in their goals and who can support me in my goals, and hopefully we can meet in the middle at some point. But I think that requires something more than just swiping left and right from a bio someone wrote and a really cute picture. I don't know, it's so interesting. It is so interesting, this modern dating environment that we've found ourselves in, that I've found myself in. You've got all these really liberal, sexually open and sexually liberal people, and then you've got people like me who are not that liberal. Like, I've spoken to people who resonate on the topic of sexuality with me. There was actually this one guy on, I think it was Bumble, he had on his page, if you're sexually repressed, just swipe left. Nobody has time for prudes, or something like that. And I thought to myself, so if you're holding out for a good guy or for a deeper connection, that makes you sexually repressed and a prude, according to this guy. If you're not willing to spread your legs to just anybody that you meet on a dating app, that makes you sexually repressed. And that was just, to me, really funny. Like, what the hell? Does this person not have a brain or something? Like, it's crazy to him that someone wouldn't want to just sleep with anybody, and that makes them sexually repressed. I mean, I guess he had this idea that people will just swipe right on him because he's got 6 or 9 pack abs and really great hair and white teeth. No, you're still unattractive because you believe that people who would rather sleep with someone they feel connected to are sexually repressed, when in fact there are biological reasons why that is. Women are more inclined, and you probably heard this over and over again, to develop feelings through casual sex than men. Women are more affected by casual sex emotionally than men. Like, I can vouch for this. Like, I've had an experience where, like I said, when I lost my virginity when I didn't want to, afterwards, when I realized that this person just did that without caring about me as a person, and then also like seeing other women at the same time and having sex with this ex-girlfriend at the same time, and just kind of threw me like a rag doll, that was so painful. Like, I literally could not focus at work, at school. I had to drop out, actually, because it was just like I could not think. It affected me so much because, like, I had sex with someone that I felt like didn't care about me, essentially casual sex. given it was a different circumstance. Like, I didn't actually want to do it the way that it happened. I did not consent to that, I guess you could say. But still, it's casual sex. It's having sexual intercourse with someone that you don't know. I was attracted to him. We were dating. But when I lost my virginity to him, I didn't want to, right? I didn't consent to it. So it's not like it was with someone that I didn't want to, that I wasn't attracted to. Like, that would be even worse, right? That would be the grape word for sure. But if it's someone that you're attracted to and have been dating, it's not really considered grape. It's considered something else or something lesser than grape. You know what I mean? So, like, it was still casual sex. But that affected me so much. And I could essentially change my mind. I could be like, I don't care. And I've done that. I said, I don't care. This is empowering for me. I don't need to be affected. And you can change your mind that way. But at the end of the day, there is still that original wound when you're, doing this intimate act with someone that really would give no crap about you, just throw you away like a rag doll once they're through with you. That's painful. That's humiliating. And that is traumatizing. So there are definitely scars that are left when that happens. And you can say like, oh, it's fine, I'm not affected. But you are. Like, you're just saying that, If someone throws you away like a rag doll after you sleep with them, you can say that you don't care and it doesn't affect you as much as you want, but the reality is, it is on some level. And it's just a matter of denying it. If you're someone who doesn't want that anymore, if you want to pull back your energy, let yourself. It's okay to be more conservative. Don't listen to these people demonizing conservative beliefs. Just because you have or share some conservative beliefs, and I keep doing this, doesn't make you a bad person. They've only made it seem like conservative beliefs are bad, when in reality, they're just way too radical. Maybe for a lot of people. We don't have to go along with every new trend, every new idea, every new way of living. If you feel and think that something is inherently wrong, you have the right and you have the strength and the capacity and the power to put your foot down and say, I don't agree with that. Period. End of discussion. We don't have to accept it. We don't have to accept it. It's absolutely insane the amount of BS that is being touted and pushed onto people today. And it's time for people like you, if you are resonating with this, to stand up and say, enough is enough. I don't have to be open to what you're selling. I don't have to buy what you're selling. I don't have to accept that. Enough is enough. Any healthy human adult would say, okay, here's a line and they've crossed it. Or here's where I draw the line, right? That's healthy. Drawing lines, putting up boundaries is healthy. You guys get the gist. Definitely stand strong in yourself, okay? I find that I have to remind people of this. You don't have to be okay with everything. But you certainly should have the right to express yourself and should have the right to say no. You don't have to take on every single idea that comes your way. Every tidbit of information doesn't have to be true for you. Anyway, so the lesson for today is to be true to you. Be true to you, okay? What's true for me might not be true for you, and that's okay. But I had to, really accept that I feel in my heart and in my soul that my future husband wouldn't necessarily want me to be so liberal in my sexuality that I, open my legs to just anybody. Sure, I regret my actions and what I've allowed in the past. And I do feel like that person for me is going to forgive me for that and understand why that may have happened or why I've allowed certain things to happen. I think that they'd forgive me, but I don't think that they would necessarily be my person if I were sexually liberal, if that makes sense, and just had casual sex willy-nilly, like it meant nothing to me when it did. I think that this person that I'm thinking of and that I feel in my heart is only going to be my person if I stay true to my original beliefs, which is that, sex should be reserved for deep connection and transcending with a partner who is on the same page and aligns and cares about me, and wouldn't just throw me like a rag doll after the act, who would caress me, who wants to care for me, who wants the best for me, who, is concerned that I'm home safely versus not giving a crap what happens to me. To me, that's what sex should be reserved for. And really, that's the standard. Like, that's the basic. So that's like the standard for me in, having sex with someone. Sure, it doesn't have to be the one or the one that you're going to marry and spend the rest of your life with, but it sure is close. And I think that anybody who cares for you and wants the genuine best for you is your friend and exhibits, loyalty and commitment and makes your life better, could deserve that. Could, be someone that I would sleep with, but that if I chose not to anyway, if I chose to wait, they would be okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm looking for someone who will still be there for me if I chose to wait until marriage, who wouldn't just leave. And I think that that's really beautiful. Not because I am holding out on them for someone better, but because I'm waiting for this person who will stick around, not just for what they can get out of me sexually, but, because we are compatible, because we can build a life together. And dude, okay. Just because you're conservative doesn't mean that you're not a freak. Yeah, dude. Lady in the streets, freak in the sheets, right? Like, that's a thing. Like, I think we forgot that you can still be a lady in the streets and be a freak in the sheets. Like, that's always been something that I really, like, gravitated to from the beginning. Like, you can still be a freak in the sheets, but for your man, for that man that deserves it, not just for anybody. That's just me, no offense. Like, I know some girls are probably going to be triggered by that, but do you made that choice, and I feel that. Like, I've made terrible choices in the past, but I still believe that, I'm someone who can only get freaky with a person who actually exhibits the criteria that I mentioned earlier, who actually sees me as a potential wife, a future wife, who actually cares about me, wants me to get home safely, wants to ensure that I'm safe and taken care of, and sees me as a person of value, not only as a woman to be conquered, someone who has important things to say and valuable things to say, valuable things to contribute, someone who can be their partner in life and to be their friend. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Like, I don't want just all this BS, right? You can be a multimillionaire. I don't care. Do you care about me in a genuine way? Do you care about what happened to me? Do you want me safe? Do you want me to achieve my dreams? Do you want me to be happy? Do you want me to feel protected? Do you want me to feel secure? Do you want me to feel like the world is beautiful? Or do you want me to feel like I'm worthless? Like, that's the difference. And it's not too high. A lot of people have made me feel like that's too much to want, because who am I to think that I deserve that, is what they would say to me. You don't deserve that. I remember, like, my ex-friend, we were talking about this, and she was like, do you deserve it though? I'm like, yes, I deserve it. And she was like, okay. Like, she actually didn't believe that I deserved to be loved by a good man, like a great man. And she made me feel like I didn't deserve that. And this was a common theme, that I was so worthless, that I didn't deserve a good man, which is crazy, because that's just the basics. Everybody deserves that. Every woman deserves that. And you know what? What's mine can never be yours, because if it was truly mine, then it is mine. It's not yours. It's not anybody else. What's meant for me is always going to find me. No one can steal what's meant for me. No one can steal what's meant for you. I don't want your man. I remember this being an issue too. Lots of girls thinking I wanted their man just because I said hi or cracked a joke or something. This is why I used to be funny, believe it or not. I used to be funny until this one chick thought that me being funny and cracking jokes with somebody meant that I was flirting with their man and trying to steal their man. Can you imagine? And that has been like a seed in my mind now. Like, oh, every time I smile around a man, it's because I'm trying to steal their man, or they're gonna think that, so I should just be like mean, you know what I mean? Or I shouldn't smile, or I shouldn't crack a joke, or I shouldn't even be, like, I have a flirty personality. I'm funny, or I used to be funny, and I just feel like I can't be that way because these bitches think that you're trying to steal their man or something. I remember that distinctly happening multiple times. Hopefully we've grown up a little bit from that, but it's made an impact on me where I literally feel like cracking jokes and being funny meant that I was flirting with someone's man, which is really not the case. But there's like this trauma with women and men just feeling like they're not safe in their relationships because, you know, women are gonna steal other women's men, you know, and men are not to be trusted. Seriously, if you think that a woman can steal your man, it's because you don't trust your man. You don't actually think that he's capable of controlling himself, and he may not be, especially with all of the distractions that are, you know, that we are being bombarded with pornography. Like I mentioned, I've seen porn since I was like 10 or 9 years old. Like, I was watching porn at a very early age, and it wasn't necessarily to pleasure myself. It was just like a curiosity. I was also playing a lot of adult anime games, watching adult anime shows on the internet. Nobody knew, because I would hide it, of course, but yeah, I would even delete the history too, because I knew how to do that. So it was crazy. And on top of that, I was seeing like really grotesque videos of people, you know, bestiality, just deaths doing that, and just horrific murders and stuff like that at an early age. So imagine how that's affected me. But ultimately, what was my saving grace was my reverence for life, nature, beauty, abundance, my gratitude for the food that I have in front of me, for all of the blessings that I have in my life, the gratitude for all of my, you know, my health and everything like that. That was my saving grace, is just coming back down to my body and just feeling so grateful for this moment. But the reality is we're getting bombarded with so much distraction, and if a man or a young guy is, or if a man or a young guy does not have the good foundations that I was talking about earlier, he is more susceptible to being influenced by porn or addiction to porn or things like that, which will eventually lead to the breakdown of his relationships because he can't get it up unless he watches porn. And if his girl doesn't even, exhibit the kind of behaviors or moves that a porn star does, then he can't get it up, and obviously that's going to impact his relationship. So there's this lack of trust between men and women because men have not been capable of being disciplined in that way. Back in the day, people really wanted to protect their family, provide for their wife and their children. They would go out into the dangerous world and provide. They would build bridges and railroads and all that stuff. Now it's like you just get everything, the push of a button, it's handed to you. On top of that, you get on-demand sexual experiences. You just go to OnlyFans or you buy it or something. It's just so easy, right? Imagine in the future when we have sex robots. Oh, we probably already have sex robots, but imagine when they're more advanced. That's going to create even more problems unless we can learn and unless we can successfully instill in people and children good foundations to learn right from wrong and to learn reverence, gratitude for life, right? And that's a complex thing. It happens on multiple levels. And it's a job that's on multiple levels. Insecurity in our relationship starts from really weak men who can't protect their wives, who can't protect their relationships and their families, right? Because a man who cannot hold back, a man who cannot control his sexual urges in the presence of maybe a seductive, very sexual, beautiful woman is a weak man. Period. Point blank. That's just the objective truth. There's always going to be temptation. This is what, is referred to as the quote-unquote devil, right? Temptation. Temptation will always lead to destruction. Temptation will always lead to destroying what's beautiful in your life. And sure, there is a good aspect to temptation where it allows you to branch out, but you have to also know as a human being, as an adult, where that begins or where it's still healthy and then where unhealthiness starts. Temptation will always lead to destruction. So imagine if a woman can trust her man because he's a strong, powerful, intelligent, wise man. He can do whatever he wants. He can go wherever he wants and she will feel safe. Because he's a strong man, because she trusts his leadership and direction, she doesn't need to worry. She knows he's not gonna disrespect her. Regardless of what a seductive, hypersexual woman can do or can influence a man to do, it doesn't matter because he's strong in himself. You need two to tango. In this case, we need women to stop trying to steal married men, stop trying to destroy fucking marriages on purpose. You will be surprised. People do this. People genuinely try and break down marriages, but I'm not concerned about that because I know that I'm only marrying a man who is strong in himself to value our relationship, value me as his partner, as his wife, as his friend. It's like betraying your friend. Do you betray your friends? I don't betray my friends. And who the hell normalized that? Who made it cool to betray your friends? Your partner is your friend, first and foremost. And if you betray your friend, are you a good friend? You're not a good friend. So you move on and find a better friend. If I have to be single for the rest of my life until I can find a person who will not betray me in that way, sure, go out into the bars while I'm at home reading a book and relaxing in the tub. But that's because I trust you. You know, it's tough. It's tough. It really is. But I think it's possible. It's not too much to ask for. And I'm honestly, I'm okay with being single for the rest of my life, unless I can find a man who is strong enough and powerful enough to, you know, not be tempted by these girls who don't understand that you should be respecting people's marriages, such as this Adam Levine thing and that whole mistrust thing that he's been going through right now. She was like, oh, he said that he was getting divorced. I made that mistake, so I'm not gonna like hate on her for that. The guy that I lost my virginity to, he was like, oh yeah, that's my ex-girlfriend. She called him. He was like, yeah, that's my ex-girlfriend. She's fucking crazy. She won't leave me alone. She's like so obsessed with me. I believed him. Meanwhile, he literally, like right in front of my face, answered the phone. He's like, oh hey, I'm just with a friend. And I still believed him when he said, oh, she's crazy. I just answered the phone because I wanted her to leave me alone. You know what I mean? I believed him, but here they were still talking to each other. It didn't click in my mind. And I guess maybe it didn't click in her mind. She said herself she was 21. I was like 20, 21 when it happened. So I'm not like blaming her, but we need to learn, ladies, if a man is in the process of getting divorced, maybe we could just be friendly with them, you know, like let's just help him through his divorce or whatever, without necessarily intending to develop romantic feelings or being flirtatious. To me, that's valuable. That's like being a girl's girl. That's like being a woman's woman. You're backing up your sister from another mister, even though you haven't met. You're being a true feminist. Except nowadays, feminists are like, oh, let me just have sex with whoever I want, even if it's a married man, because, oh, my body, my choice, I get to do whatever I want. I feel like that's the complete opposite of what real feminism is about. Feminism is about protecting women, protecting the ladies. And if you're, you know, intentionally destroying marriages because you got horny one time and you felt like he was cute and he had money, well, what does that make you? That doesn't make you a woman's woman. That makes you an enemy of women, really. Like, I don't understand why Andrew Tate, for instance, is saying that, like, oh, to be a strong man, you can do whatever the hell you want, make a bunch of money, fuck a bunch of bitches, and your wife is at home taking care of the kid and cleaning your house and cooking your meals, and she doesn't get to have all the fun that you're having. To him, that makes him strong and powerful. He's wrong. He's delusional. That doesn't make him strong and powerful. That makes him infantile. It makes him a beta male. The true alpha males are providing for their families, innovating, making the world a better place, truly. And at the same time, respecting and loving their wives and children. That is a true alpha male. Call it subjective, but I'm pretty sure this is an objective truth. That's what makes a real man. You can say whatever you want, you can hate whatever you want. That's a real, strong alpha male, period. Doesn't get tempted by other women. It's tough because it's like, wow, what if your soulmate is married, Kim? That's crazy. If he was married, when we're gonna get together, he'll be divorced by then, for sure, and they won't be in contact. That's for certain. But see, I have control over that. I don't want a married man. I'm not attracted to married men. I've never been attracted to a married man. They could be, okay, listen, Josh Duhamel, back when he was married to Fergie, really sexy. Brad Pitt, when he was married to Angelina Jolie, really sexy. Still really handsome and attractive. Doesn't mean I want to go to LA and stalk him and, you know, place myself where he would be so I can seduce him away from his marriage. No, he's just beautiful. Just as a daisy or a sunflower is beautiful and a rose is beautiful in its own right. Like, I'm just admiring beauty. Doesn't mean I want it for myself. If it's someone else's rose, I'm not gonna get someone else's rose, you know? And to me, that's just normal. It's actually quite healthy, in my opinion. But no, some people nowadays, they really intentionally try and break marriages because they're bored. much, mind-blowing. Like, how? Why? Does that make you happy? Does that make you a good person? What does that do for you? I feel like that's like bringing karma onto yourself, truly, because we all know that marriage is a binding contract, and that has certain implications for anybody who tries to break that apart energetically, for the most part, is what I'm speaking on, but also in litigation too. Like, it's fucked. Like, if you're lucky enough to have found your soulmate, gosh dang, honor that. People want that. People pray for that every single day of their lives, and here you are, you have it, yet you're still not satisfied. That's crazy to me. You don't need another person to fulfill your needs. Just get to know the person that is in front of you, that you've built a life with, and don't throw away all of those years, all of that love, for temporary pleasure and temporary beauty. Do you know what I mean? It truly, 100%, it truly is the alpha males who get that. Listen, you could have so much money, but if you're cheating on your wife, maybe she's letting you, but if you're cheating on your wife and taking advantage of your money to get other women, you're not an alpha male. You're an obnoxious, successful, financially male. That's what you are. An alpha male protects and serves. Protects his family, serves his community, makes the world a better place, helps children and women feel safer. That is an alpha male, and nobody can tell me anything, period. And guess what? A lot of these alpha males can beat up Andrew Tate. He said it himself. He literally said, I'm sure like there's some guy with no social media who can beat me up. He admitted to that because he knows. He knows that just because you're not showing off your wealth on social media, or just because you don't have a social media, doesn't make you weak. Doesn't mean that you lack testosterone, or you can't get pussy. Just because you're sticking with one woman and you chose to be loyal to one woman doesn't mean that you can't get any woman that you want. You just choose to love your partner, your wife, the woman that you made a commitment to, and you're keeping your word, right? Men who keep their word are alpha males, hands down, period. And we need to start reminding people of this truth, because they're forgetting. They think that people like Andrew Tate, Adam Levine, or overtly successful guys who show their success on social media are like alpha males all of a sudden because they can get the hottest girls. But meanwhile, it's not true. The true alpha males don't give a crap about any of that. They can show off their wealth and still be alpha males. They can be on social media making videos, getting thousands of subscribers, getting thousands of views, and still be alpha males. And again, what makes them alpha males is their capacity to keep their word to their woman, the people that they've made promises to, capacity to protect and serve and make the world a better place, and be a pillar of strength and stability for those around them. That is an alpha male. And you cannot be a pillar of strength and stability when you're willingly deceiving the woman that stands by your side and will do anything for you. Taking care of your children, bearing your children, praying for your success, praying for your safety. The woman that wants to give her heart to you. You cannot be an alpha male if you hurt that woman. And if you do anything to jeopardize your relationship with that woman. It's just impossible. It's literally impossible. So anyways, that's my rant. Hopefully that you enjoy that. And hey, shoot, if I lose subscribers off of this, I'm okay with it. I really, really am, because I'm so done with censorship, like censoring myself. just for what likes and views. I'd rather just, you know what, if I lose my YouTube channel, it is what it is. If I lose a bunch of subscribers, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, that is my thoughts and that's my truth. And that's what's coming from the heart. So I hope you have a great day.